How can I adjust homebrew recipes for my brewing system? Imagine brewing a beer that tastes just as good as the recipe intended, even if your equipment is a little different. That's what adjusting recipes is all about. When you change your brewing system, you need to tweak your ingredients and process to keep the flavor, bitterness, and body just right. Start with the batch size. If the original recipe makes 5 gallons and you want to brew 10 gallons, double all your ingredient amounts. This keeps the proportions the same. Conversely, if you want a smaller batch, multiply everything by a fraction less than 1. This way, your beer stays true to the original flavor profile. Next, look at your system's efficiency. Efficiency is how well your mash extracts sugars from the grains. If the recipe assumes 75% efficiency, but your system only hits 65%, you need to add more grains. To do this, multiply the grain amount by the ratio of the recipe efficiency to your efficiency. For example, if the recipe calls for 10 pounds of malt and your efficiency is 65%, but the recipe assumes 75%, you multiply 10 pounds by 75 divided by 65. That gives you about 11.5 pounds of grains. This adjustment helps you reach your target original gravity, which is key for the beer's strength and balance. Hops are another area to watch. When scaling hops, keep the bitterness units, or IBUs, consistent by adjusting the hop quantities proportionally to your batch size. But remember, hop utilization depends on your boil vigor and system volume. If you boil vigorously or have a larger kettle, hop utilization might be higher, so you might need to add a little less hops or adjust late hop additions to keep the aroma and flavor just right. Yeast pitching rates are also important. To ensure healthy fermentation, scale the yeast amount based on your batch volume and the original gravity of your wort. For example, if the recipe calls for 1 million yeast cells per milliliter, and your batch size doubles, you need to double the yeast cells. If your wort has a higher gravity, you might need to pitch a little more yeast to handle the stress and ensure complete fermentation. Beyond volume and efficiency, consider other factors like evaporation rate. If your kettle loses more water during boiling than the recipe assumes, your wort will be more concentrated. Measure your evaporation rate by tracking how much water you lose during a boil and adjust your sparge water and boil times accordingly. Also, check your mash temperature and pH. Some systems run hotter or cooler, affecting enzyme activity and flavor development. You might need to tweak your mash temperature or pH to get the best conversion and flavor. Keep notes on each brew. Track your efficiency, evaporation, and fermentation results. Over time, this data helps you fine-tune your process. If your beer comes out too sweet or too bitter, you can adjust your grain or hop amounts based on what you've learned. In short, adjusting recipes for your brewing system means scaling ingredients based on batch size, correcting for mash efficiency, tweaking hop additions to keep bitterness and aroma consistent, scaling yeast to match volume and gravity, and considering system-specific factors like evaporation and mash conditions. With a little practice and careful measurement, you can make every batch taste just as you want it, no matter what equipment you use.